Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I am your host, Doug, here with your sports video blog for March 4th, 2014. We are into the month of March, and the month of March is going to be great. NBA coming down the wire, college hoops getting ready for the NCAA tournament, and spring training baseball. We'll cover all those today. First, I want to start off with LeBron James. Last night, 61 points on 22 out of 33 shooting, 8 of 10 from deep. LeBron tightening up the MVP race. We'll talk about the MVP race later on in the program on Wednesday. But LeBron was solid, showing he can just flip a switch and have a big game. And it's good to see LeBron do this because it's exciting for basketball. It's good for basketball. And LeBron James has been named the Doug Sports Blog and Grill Athlete of the Month for February. In the month of February, the guy averaged 30.8 points per game, 8 rebounds, almost 7 assists, shot 58% from the field, and his team was 9-1. So they're flipping the switch, they're closing in on the Pacers, and they're going to make it happen. And it's going to be a great finish to the season, a great Eastern Conference Finals. Till the Eastern Conference Finals, it's not going to be great. But LeBron James right now is playing out of his mind. Career high, franchise high, very impressive for him. On the other hand, we're going to take a look at the New York Knicks, who are an absolute dumpster fire right now, losing their 7th straight, and I don't know if they're going to win another game. They're 21-40 right now. They're playing atrocious basketball. They're playing in the Celtics 76ers range right now. Melo, this is not going to bring him back. Knicks have some heart issues for sure. They're not into it. Raymond Felton, the gun charges, isn't helping them out. Tim Hardaway Jr., though, has to be the lone bright spot. I think this guy could be a scorer in this league for 5 to 8 more years. Good player here. So I think the Knicks should mail it in and try and sneak into that lottery. Getting to the lottery picks, tanking, good or bad, I think tanking depends on the team. I think tanking happens in the NBA. I think it has to. If you're the 8th best team, you're mediocre. Mediocre is a death sentence in the NBA. You have to be really good or really bad, and to get really good, sometimes you have to be really bad. So I think the Lakers are tanking, even though they win last night on a last-second alley-oop, which Wes Johnson, why not just not catch the ball and lose the game, get another loss and another ping-pong ball. That's the most important thing at this point. Tanking happens all over. It can help good teams, but if you have a poorly run franchise, you're still not going to do anything, okay? You're the Milwaukee Bucks. You're not going to do anything. If you're in football, if you're the Oakland Raiders, you're not going to do anything with a good draft pick because you are a dysfunctional franchise. So in that case, tanking can be bad, but it can be good because it can get good run franchises just with poor players better, okay? So that's my take on tanking. We'll talk about that more as we get closer to the draft lottery. But now it's time for a college hoops wrap-up from the weekend. First, we're going to talk about the Syracuse Orange. They're back on the court tonight against Georgia Tech. I'll get to that in a minute. They lost at Virginia. Tough game. Cavaliers are now number 5. We'll get to the poll in a minute. Really, the key was it's Jeremy Grant out with an injury. He had to rely on Benajay and Keita coming off the bench for you. Roberson actually came in for 5 minutes. He played well. We'll probably see Roberson some next. Grant hurt with his back injury. If I was Jim Boeheim, these last 2 games, I think you could get by without him. I would sit him for the Georgia Tech game, the Florida State game, and possibly the first game of the ACC tournament. Get running back out there on the second game of the ACC tournament after you get a win and see what happens then. But right now, Grant is hurt. His back is bad. And this could give Syracuse another option off the bench. I said when Coleman went down, somebody would have to step up. Nobody really has. Keita's been decent. Benajay stepped up at the guard spot, and I think Benajay could be a better Michael Carter-Williams shooting-wise at some point. But with Grant hurt, I'd shut him down. They got Georgia Tech tonight. It'd be best if they could get a lead. I'd like to see Ron Patterson. I'd like to see B.J. Johnson. I'd like to see some of these guys get some minutes to see if maybe they can contribute somehow down the stretch because 5 guys cannot play 40 minutes. It's not going to work out too well. All right, let's go to the new AP poll released yesterday. Florida on top at 27-2. Wichita State second, 31-0. I'm good with the top 4. I'm good with the top 5, and then I have a question. Villanova 26-3. Syracuse 26-3. I would have Syracuse over Villanova because Syracuse did beat Villanova, and Villanova lost to to Creighton, who is ranked number 13. Syracuse, 2 of their losses are to 2 teams ahead of them. Okay. Then we got Kansas at 8, good with that. Louisville and San Diego State 9 and 10, okay. Wisconsin climbing, Michigan there at 12. Creighton lost, they dropped to 13. North Carolina, one of the hottest teams in the country, almost lost last night to Notre Dame. They're in at 14. 15, 16, 17, I'm good. Cincinnati, St. Louis, Iowa State. I think Southern Methodist is a little high at 23 and 6 for sure. And I really like the rest of the poll. The surprising team has to be Kentucky in at number 25. I mean, come on, that is insane right now. Kentucky's really struggling. Not a lot of on-court leadership, and they're going to struggle for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do if they can right the ship and get it done. The team I'm looking at that's the biggest riser is Virginia. Virginia jumping all the way up to number 5. They put themselves solidly in that 2-seed conversation. If they can win out and go ahead and win the ACC tournament, or even just have a quality win and get to the finals in the ACC tournament against a Duke or a Syracuse, they could jump to a number 1 seed, which would be miraculous for sure. St. Louis starting to fall a little bit. St. Louis down to number 17. They lost to VCU. They lost to Duquesne. They're struggling. We'll see what the Billikens can do. But St. Louis could be in a free fall right now for sure. My number 1 seed update. My number 1 seeds right now: Florida, Wichita State, Arizona, and Duke. I'm going with the top 4 teams in the country. I think the teams just outside that still have to be Syracuse at number 7 and Kansas at number 8. I think those 2 teams could still be deserving of a number 1 seed if the other teams win out. Syracuse could climb back up there, and Kansas, because I think Kansas could be the best team in the country when they're healthy for sure. All right, we're going to talk more bracketology tomorrow. Also, we'll be doing the bracket pool again in a couple weeks. I'll give you more information about that when it gets closer. But now it's time to head down to Florida for spring training. Yesterday, the Yankees win. Another one, 4-2. They've now won 4 straight. Ivan Nova was solid, 3 innings, 4 strikeouts. Also, David Robertson came in and threw a scoreless inning. Jeter, not hitting the ball a whole lot yet. He's 0 for 7, but he did look good on a double play turn, and really no hiccups yet. He's going to play back-to-back as he'll play tonight for the Yankees. Thursday's going to be a big day for the Yankees. They're getting a lot of guys back. Soriano is okay with the flu. He's going to play. Tex, Mark Teixeira, ready to go with his wrist injury. He'll be good to go. And we'll get to see another sighting of Masahiro Tanaka on that front. Couple news and notes. Orioles signed pitcher Johan Santana to a minor league deal. I tell you what, the Orioles are starting to stack up the good guys. You better watch out. They got Nelson Cruz last week. Now they're getting Santana. Look out for the Orioles. And a quick shout out to NASCAR. Kevin Harvick wins at Phoenix. Now that puts me to 1-1 for my NASCAR picks for the year. Let's go briefly to the Cup standings. Just take a look at the point standings. Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off his Daytona 500 win finishes 2nd. Okay? And really how the chase works is if you get a win, the top 16 will be in. Okay? So right now, the top 2 guys, Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, on the win. In points, Brad Keselowski is 6 behind Jr. Gordon's 10 back, Jimmy 12. And right now for the Chase transfer spot, Austin Dillon sitting at 16, and Marcus Ambrose, Casey Kane, and Tony Stewart are sitting just on the outside. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with my NBA MVP race update. I'll also tell you which conference tournament is going to be the one to watch that could have the biggest effect on the field. We'll go to the NFL. We'll talk Jim Harbaugh and more. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. Always remember to follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. That's YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back tomorrow. Have a good Tuesday.